Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. One by one, countries caved to the pressure of the boss, and they did things they said they will never do. In this case is Japan's turn. South Korea before Japan, now Japan. And if you look at the European Union and the United States of America, they broke all the statements that they said, or the decisions, like we're not going to deliver airplanes. No, we're not going to deliver tanks. We're not going to deliver missile systems. No, we're going to deliver long-range missile systems. All those self-proclaimed promises were broken by most countries. And I think in the end, all of them will break their promises that they were made without being asked. They were not asked. They just came in front of the population and said, we are not going to arm Ukraine. We're not going to provide Ukraine with ammunition. I know that was South Korea, that was Japan, and many other countries that said, we're not going to do this. Well, if you waited a little bit, they all did what they said they will not. Not all. A few more countries are lagging behind. Now, what happened now? If you remember, I don't know if you remember, Japan said that they will not send military equipment and anything of a military aid. That's how weapons. When they say military aid, don't think about, I don't know, clothing and food and condoms. No. Weapons to kill. To save lives. So they kill the enemy, so the enemy doesn't kill their people, therefore they save lives. So I kill the enemy cannot kill this, so that means I save life. That's the process that you have to understand when I say to save lives, we provide them with weapons. Instead of saying, wait, don't fight anymore, let's talk. Ceasefire. I think a ceasefire would save more lives than giving these guys weapon to kill the bad guys, therefore killing people, so the bad guys cannot kill their people. Either way, people will die. The best way is stop everything. But none of these outsiders want that. None of them. They say, if we do this, Blinken said, and not only the Ukrainians all the time, they say this, and the German Chancellor and the British weasel, Maharishi Sunak, will give Russia time to recover. But no, Ukraine will not give Ukraine anything. I don't know why it doesn't work both ways, but hey, you look for logic. So what happened now? Japan decided to arm Ukraine. And Russia obviously reacts and threatens Japan with serious consequences. That's exactly what the Americans wanted. Why do I say that? Because they're going to arm now Japan. That means Japan will buy equipment, military equipment, which is weapons, from American weapon manufacturing companies, which are in the American or US military industrial complex. You got it? You got the little thing? Yeah. So now we have Russians, so we're going to provide it, you're going to react, we're going to have the helper come and help us, providing us weapons to save lives by what? Defending ourselves from the Russians who want to attack because we provided weapons to those guys to save lives because the Russians attacked them instead of saying stop everything. That's not an option because Russia is not destroyed. When Russia is going to be destroyed, we're going to have a ceasefire. Or when somehow the Ukrainian population will be turned into nothing. But then you're going to have volunteers fighting in Ukraine for the Ukrainian freedom and democracy and defending our values and freedoms that the Russians want to take away from us through their imperialistic drive that they have. But who has 700 and so military I don't say bases, but presence around the globe. Russia, not. But anyway, they're over there to keep the peace, keep the peace. I arm you against him so you can keep the peace. That's how it goes. So let's see what Lavrov did. This article comes from Ukrainska Pravda. Russian Foreign Ministry threatens Japan with, and I'm quoting, serious consequences for providing weapons to Ukraine. June 9, 2023. Russia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has summoned the Japanese ambassador in connection with the Japanese government's decision to start supplying Ukraine with military equipment and has threatened Japan with and I'm quoting, serious consequences. So Japan provides them with military equipment because they produce it? But if they produce it, why do they ask the Americans to be there? Why the Americans are still there if Japan has military equipment? Again, more help needed somehow. Ambassador Toyoshi-san Kozuki was reportedly summoned to explain the Japanese government's decision to start supplying military equipment to Ukraine. The Russian Foreign Ministry cynically claims the move will lead to, and I'm quoting, a further increase in the number of human casualties and an escalation of hostilities. Why is this cynic? I think this is factual. This is realistic. You give them more weapons, you're going to kill more of us. You give more weapons, we're going to employ more weapons ourselves. So where is the cynical thing? Or you provide more weapons, we're going to stop fighting and you can take everything we want because we have because you are the good guys? Yes, that's the option. Again, the ministry also said that the administration of Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, which I think is in the 20th as approval rating in Japan, which means they don't have imperium to lead, to be in charge, should be, and I'm quoting, ready to share responsibility for the deaths of civilians, particularly in the border regions of Russia. Yes, because probably, these weapons will be used by Ukrainians to do what they do best, defend themselves. Therefore, they're going to attack border regions of Russia, which they have been doing. That's a fact. That's not, and say, well, those weapons might, you could share responsibility for that. But these guys don't care because they are under occupation. In addition, the Russian Foreign Ministry is threatening Japan with, and I'm quoting, serious consequences. Quote, with this sanction, Tokyo is driving bilateral relations deeper into a dangerous impasse. Such actions cannot remain without serious consequences. Now, on June 9th, today, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, who has approval rating 21 last time I checked, 21 in a democratic country. They should be out. That means you don't rule in the name of majority. And Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, Ukraine's president, yes, held a telephone conversation. Japan plans to provide $5 million worth of humanitarian aid through international organization to the people affected by the explosion of Kharkov. At the end of May, Japan supplied Ukraine with 100 military vehicles. It's just a foot in the door, including trucks and SUVs. All right? This is just foot in the door. As I said, the best way to be, it would have been, that's already gone. The train, Elvis has left the building. It's gone. It's not coming back. The same here. Those kind of conversations were in December 2021. They were in October, November 2021, when NATO just said, start doing what you're supposed to, and we'll see who wins. And Russia says, okay, well, we're going to do it. Well, I'm not pointing at the Russians as being, the victims here, but I can't, in good faith and in intelligence or logic, say that they are 100% the bad guys here or made a mistake. A lot of people are responsible for what's going on over there in Ukraine, and it's hurtful because the Ukrainians, the population, which is not guilty of anything, or the Russian population, not guilty of anything, just voting people in office. But anyway, there's not, you vote based on your abilities and the knowledge that you have at that point, which again, it's your best of your abilities. We all have our limitations. So it bothers me that these brothers, are fighting, and I think for the interest of people unrelated to these cousins. And those people will benefit out of all this. And both these guys are going to lose. The other guys are going to lose a little bit, but they expect that these guys are going to, pam pam, boom boom. Russia is going to be down. They go to Russia, then they go to China, and then they will continue to and reach that point where we're going to have, a democratic world leadership. Oh, I don't want to say government because that has a bad connotation. So Nevertheless, and they are good. They have good intentions. Good intentions. Why? Because they say so. The actions, don't look at the actions. They say so. That's all you need. They identify with the good people. That means they are good because they identify, because they say so. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.